Are you a programmed robot? This is a question, a very important question that we must all ask ourselves. Are we doing things automatically because we think it's the right thing to do, or because everybody else is doing it, or because we've always done it this way? If so, you're headed for trouble, big trouble. I started thinking about this issue today, which is in the middle of March. And what are people doing in the sports world? They're awaiting March Madness, the college basketball championship. And everybody's busy filling out their brackets. Who's going to beat who and this? I don't know how many games there are, and we're supposed to figure out who's going to beat who and advance to the next round. And there are people, many people out there who know nothing, ugats, about college basketball. But they're doing this not knowing what the hell they're doing, not knowing the first thing about college basketball, and they're doing it because they know that in March of every single year, this is what you're supposed to do, whether you know anything about college basketball or not. They are programmed robots. Now, if somebody knows college basketball very well, it's a little different. But somebody who knows nothing about it, they're just doing it, they don't know what they're doing, and they're simply doing it because everybody else is doing it, everybody else has always done it, and everybody else always will do it. Pitiful. And then we have holidays. Oh yes, that's another big one. We have Christmas. Now, Christmas is a good holiday. It's a great holiday. The meaning of Christmas is not to be overlooked, but it's become a commercial enterprise. And before a lot of gifts were bought online, what would everybody do? They would go to the mall. In fact, some of the malls would open at midnight, so that everybody could rush in there and start buying clothes in a frenzy. Buying clothes, buying gifts, anything they could think to do. And shoving and pushing people around and crowded and being around all those people. Getting a headache. And this is what they did. And they did it year after year. Why? Because that is what you're supposed to do. Buy gifts for everybody you can think of. And then you expect to get gifts from other people too as well. This to me is mindless insanity. I can't take it anymore. So this year, I said to my friends, look, I'm not going to exchange gifts this year. What I will do is this. After the Christmas season is over, I will take you all out to dinner to a nice restaurant. Choose the restaurant, I will take you out. But I will not get into this mindless exchange of gifts that occur every single year. I can't stand it anymore. Think out of the box for a change. Instead of watching what everybody else is doing or has done or what everybody is going to do or is expected to do. Then we have other holidays like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, and the list goes on and on. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you love these people, every day is Mother's Day. Every day is Father's Day. Every day is Valentine's Day. Why do you feel that you need to go out and rush out and buy gifts and buy cards and send cards or however you want to send these messages? It's not necessary. People know whether you love them or not. And if they have any questions about it, because they may be still on the old system, which I've had jettisoned, of what you're expected to be doing, just tell them that I don't do this anymore. It's nothing personal, but I don't do this anymore. I refuse to follow the crowd. Then we have the stories I told you about my grandparents. Every Wednesday and Sunday they would go to the same cafeteria. Month after month, year after year, decade after decade. It never stopped. They never even thought about going anywhere else. The same thing over and over and over and over. Now those people And people like that, and there are many other people like that, are programmed, but they are self-programmed. They're not programmed by society, they're programmed by themselves. And they keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And if you dare try to suggest they go somewhere else, they just can't take it. They just explode. They can't handle it. They can't get out of that box. And that's why I recommend that you look at my video, Get Out of the Box. A friend of mine who had a music background, an extensive music background, accompanied me several times to view a performance by a particular band that played once a month. And he noticed that they kept on playing the same music in the same order every single time. And he said to me, I'm getting sick of this. I've heard all these songs before, and I don't mind it, but it's the same songs over and over and over and over and over again, always in the same order. You can almost predict what the next song was going to be. And my friend actually went up to the lead guitarist and said, hey man, you all are a great band, but why don't you mix it up a little bit? Change it up. And the guy looked at him and he said, well, you know what? Thank you for your feedback. And you know what? They did. They did start to mix it up. They were to the point that they were so used to doing the same thing every single month, the same songs, the same order, they probably didn't even think about it. They just went up there automatically and were programmed to do the same songs in the same order. Boring. Then we have religion. People who are not religious at all. None. Except on certain days when they claim to be, when they want to show their face at a particular house of worship, because they think they are supposed to be there. They have programmed that they are supposed to be there on those days. So all their friends can see them. All their friends who act just like they do, who are also programmed, can see their programmed friends at the house of worship. The rest of the year, they could cut your throat. But on those days, they're there. Because everybody else is there. Their parents did that. Their children did that. They were programmed from day one. This is what you do. This is how you're supposed to behave. If you want to be an accepted member of society, this is what you do. I say to hell with it. I don't want to be a member of that type of society. I don't want to be part of the programmed robot society. I want to do what I want to do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I say this to you. If this is the way you want to behave, go ahead and do it. But I can't take it anymore. I simply cannot take this anymore. And I've said to my friends, I will take you out to restaurants, but I will not engage in exchange of Christmas presents, and I will not engage in sending cards or whatever. We will celebrate it in another way. But I'm not going to do this anymore. And they didn't like it at first, but you know what? They got used to it, and they went along with it. They had never thought of another way of doing things. So I say this to you. Ask yourself, are you a programmed robot? Because if you are, you're headed for trouble. You're headed for the dread of doing the same thing every year. And you know what? You don't want to do it. You're sick of it too. You just don't have the guts to buck the system. It's about time you grew a pair and started to buck the system and think for yourself. And say, you know what? There are no rules or laws that says you have to do it a certain way. I make the rules for myself. And if other people don't like it, that's just too bad. I hope that this video has instilled in you new ways of thinking about things and examining your own behavior. I ask you to subscribe, to comment, to like, and to share this video and others that I do with your friends. My loyal audience, I remind you to drink, and drink abundantly from the fountain of life, and I ask you to view my video, Break Out of the Box. It dovetails well with this one here today about being a programmed robot. See you next time!